brothers and sisters slaughtering each other. His father didn't even blink, until they set their eyes on the little one, 12th, 3-year-old princess. The man could not sit still. He took the girl in his arms. She was too young to join the War of Succession, but the girl just waved her hand, and he took the first prince who wanted to harm him. Everyone thought he was a genius, but in reality, a 300-year-old witch lives inside it. She is a witch who hates humans, which is why she has always lived in the depths of the mountains. Until she met Lacus. Please save me. She fell in love with Lacus at first sight, the first time I chose to believe in humans. In the end, I ended up dying at the hands of Lacus. Fortunately, I kept my soul, and I was summoned in the body of a baby. Thinking that the first time I trusted humans, I was stabbed in the back. I regret not having known about it sooner. Now that I have been reborn, I have to take revenge quickly, precisely, and cruelly. Try to feel the magic inside the baby's body, being an amazing 5-star skill, still unawakened. I must remember that I only had 2 stars at the beginning. Why not simply dominate the continent? Too bad I can't even speak now. And they also change my diapers all day. If shame could kill, he would have died by now. That day, the maid took him for a walk, but they met His Majesty the Emperor. Seeing that handsome face, he only felt a surge of familiarity and a sense of oppression never experienced before. White hair and red eyes. Yes, he looks a lot like the previous emperor, Mr. Corner. Isn't that the Northern Dragon I have a bad relationship with? Why do you suddenly mention that old man? The man also showed interest. He reached out and began to examine him. Oh, what a pain, I'm still a kid, what's this guy doing? It is directly giving the man a good bite. Is he spitting on me? This child doesn't even cry, instead, he opens his mouth and bites. Interesting. It seems that he can already choose a sword. But Your Majesty, you are not yet a year old. This child has resisted my power. What the hell? Is this white-haired man crazy or what? Look at the yellow-haired girl. She looks happy, right? It seems that there is no lioness, I guess that's her name. I want to see your teeth. Becoming a lion, that's the story. Or the fangs of a beast. I hope you don't let me down. Leona, absorbed in her thoughts, did not even listen to what the man was saying. Instead, he looked at the man's accessories. Why are they so familiar? Wait, is this man that person? No, it can't be. It just looks similar. Does it hurt you a lot, Your Highness? It's all my fault for bringing her. If it wasn't for me, we wouldn't be going through this. Tomorrow, you will have to choose your sword. From then on, you'll be involved in the fight for succession. Wait, isn't it really that wretch's country? And I have become his daughter? Urgent online question. How likely is it to reincarnate as the daughter of your arch-enemy? The Emperor of the Hysis Empire. Not only does he possess the blood of a dragon, he is the transcendent of the world. Also, according to the tradition of the Empire, he himself killed his 38 brothers and sisters to obtain the throne. That's how ruthless he is. He even fought to the death with Leonardo's predecessor. More than 20 years ago, a human caravan crossed Leonardo's mountains without permission. He, a transformed human, annihilated the caravan, but that attracted this man, maddened, and he gave an account to Leonardo. Finally, Leonardo had to give in, turned into a mouse, and escaped. From then on, he didn't even dare to sleep, his head turned toward the Hysis Empire, and now she has become his daughter. Life is unpredictable. What an irony, what bad luck. Now, Leona is even thinking about leaving this body, but he also did not want to give up this 5-star hotel, nor the heritage of this body. But on second thought, this country system would allow him to show off completely. Since he has lived again, then I will play emperor. Of course, after arousing the kingdom of Cavil, ruled by Lacus, I will finally conquer the continent. Soon came the day of the sword selection. Hundreds of people filled the room. Sword selection wasn't really about choosing a sword, but about choosing the subordinates who would follow me. Leona looked at the crowd, and his gaze fell on the woman in the corner. He didn't expect His Highness to choose him, just as His Majesty said. This 12th princess is not simple at all. As an advisor to the Emperor, and also a first-class elite knight, he has seen all the heirs grow. But why is the princess so adorable? Damn, it's too adorable. Why do I feel this inexplicable urge to touch his face? I eat it. Leona was speechless. What is this suspicious man doing? He looks like a stalker. Isn't this one I beat up before, and now he's passed out? Never mind. I have more important things to do. Case, chosen by Leona, is the strongest necromancer on the continent. As long as there are corpses, it is invincible. Once, he even destroyed a country by himself. I didn't expect to meet him here. As long as Case is by her side, Leona is sure she will be able to grow up safely. He couldn't help but wave to Case, but Keith backed off repeatedly. That caused him some injustice. He was no monster. Why this reaction? Leona, in disbelief, continued to beckon, but Keith continued to back off. This angered Leona. How dare he ignore their goodwill? This room is already hot, and now, with this anger, it is even hotter. Kate, seeing that things look bad, he immediately reaches over and takes Leona's small hand. But it's clear that he hasn't controlled the force well. It almost makes Leona cry. Fortunately, the maiden shows up in time, and notices that the princess seems to be suffering. Let him release it first. Hearing this, Case thought Leonard was feeling bad, and turned to call for a healer. The man took Leonard's small hand, and moments later he turned pale with fear. Quick, quick, call upon the divine oracle. What do you mean? Go quickly. Decide that His Highness's spiritual power is out of control. What nonsense are you talking about? Saying Leonard about the alliance? What is this charlatan saying? A small body with a spiritual power of 5 stars is everywhere. Someone must have forcibly infused that power into him. If not treated in time, you could die. No wonder your highness sweats so much. It's just that I'm furious, and my shoulders don't stop shaking. That was my reaction to thinking that I would be the emperor. Your highness must be suffering a lot. He has not stopped laughing. It's really strong. Perhaps he has received the blessing of the corner. Don't you think there's a chance that this spiritual power has always been mine? Moreover, even without the blessing of that idiot dragon, I'm strong too. Okay. Oh, why doesn't anyone understand me? The god Guan soon finished the review. He has nothing serious. It only needs rest. I'm leaving. If you have any other questions, you can contact me at any time. Keith looks at Leona, who is fast asleep. It's very small, but it looks strong. He can't help but prick his little face with his finger. I will protect you with my life. I will help him to take the throne. The days go by. Today is the day of Leona's bow. The palace is unusually lively. He held out his hands to Case again in friendship. Seeing the guy slowly back off, Leona was curious. From the last time, every time she looked into his eyes, he blushed and walked away. This made Leona doubt herself. Is my smile scary? The maid thought he was bored. Seeing that he was pointing at Kate with his pinky, she was confused. So he pulled out a rattle and a pacifier to entertain him. Leona was going crazy. Why did no one understand what he meant? Seeing Leona becoming more and more restless, the maid became very nervous. He quickly began to rummage through the closet. I found an old, broken rabbit. Looking at the sinister doll, this rabbit does not seem simple. I can indeed feel the dark spiritual power in him. Maybe if I hug it all the time, this dark energy will stick to me. Leona, tired of playing, fell asleep quickly. Case looks at the strange rabbit. What is that doll? It is a childhood toy of Her Highness Princess Huang's mother. I didn't think His Highness liked it so much. If Her Highness the Princess knew, she would be very happy. But Her Highness the Princess is really unlucky. With less than a year, she is already involved in a fight for succession. Yes, but you can see that he is someone very powerful. Although powerful, that will be in the future. I will protect him. That said, Sace couldn't resist touching her face. Upon learning in the evening that the princess would be moving into the Black Rose Palace, Sace thought it was inappropriate. It is said that ghosts of deceased royalty often appear here. He must go and tell the emperor immediately. This palace is in terrible condition. However, the maiden stammered, saying that he had begged His Majesty to allow him to serve the princess in the Palace of the Black Rose. You are crazy? This palace is in ruins. I am only fulfilling the last wishes of Her Highness the Princess. Her Highness the Princess said that the Imperial Princess should live in this palace. I can't do anything about it. Look at this palace. It's splendid and bright. It looks good. I like it. And Leona stares at the palace, feeling that there is a rich, dark aura there. It should be of the same origin as the stuffed rabbit. He waves his small hands excitedly to get the maiden in quickly. The closer he gets to the palace, the stronger this spiritual energy becomes. Is there anything hidden here? But the strange thing is that this spiritual energy, even the current Leonard, can feel it. Why does Casey seem not to react? A gust of magical wind blows. It seems that even if I don't do anything, you don't have much time left to live. that I have to dispute the succession with this thing. The boy in front of me looks like the emperor, like 2 drops of water. And besides, it comes with bad intentions." Leona shouted angrily, "Get out of here. Oh, no one can understand it." The child even less knows what it means. He tilts his head, looking at Leona. Her silver hair combined with her red eyes. It's like an adorable bunny. A few days ago, he eavesdropped on the conversation between His Majesty and Heliert. Heliert is suspicious of Princess Leona. His Majesty always embraces her. They even accuse Her Majesty of hurting such an adorable princess. Especially since Her Majesty granted the Palace of the Black Rose to the princess. The previous Grand Prince, right there, he murdered all the princes who renounced the throne. There may still be bloodstains in the palace. Besides, the palace is so far away that Her Highness the Princess could be killed. The sword could not convince His Majesty. Herod decided that he himself would protect Her Highness the Princess. This left the boy intrigued. Who was actually the 12th princess? Why would Herod and His Majesty care so much about her? Now that I see it, he cursed High-like, that idiot, in a low voice. He didn't describe at all how adorable the princess is. Looking at the broken doll that the princess was carrying in her arms, I felt discontented. How dare he give her that rubbish? If I had given him a high-end toy, he would surely have been very happy. Thinking of this, the boy couldn't help but chuckle. However, the maid told her that the doll was a gift from the 12th Imperial Consort to the princess. That was awkward, wasn't it? But he was so small that, without understanding, he couldn't help but scream, "What a beautiful little thing! Even gentlemen are so miserable." He raised his hand and bestowed Leon on the blessing of the sun god. The maiden explained that he was her brother, Prince Nikar. His Highness can use the power of the sun god. Leona pressed her outstretched hand. "Are babies so adorable?" As a child, he was not adorable. LL, do not lock the door. While Case came to terms with the maid about the ruins, we must lock the door. Leonard realized that he had been blessed with accelerated growth, but Nicole didn't like it, because he hates humans, and even more so heavy humans. Time flew by. 3 years later, Leona could finally use her limbs deftly, except she didn't speak very clearly. He could finally communicate with people without problems. But in 3 years, he hadn't seen the Emperor even once. Now it should be stronger, shouldn't it? Leona's goal is to become the Empress of this empire. To do this, he has to kill all the princes and princesses. He may even have to kill the Emperor. Belonging to the imperial family means being constantly in danger of being killed. So Keith placed a super strong barrier in his room, so the killer can't easily get close. Like that man now, he can only prowl outside the window. Then Leona staggered out. "Are you very good?" The man smiled mischievously. "Of course I am. I can eliminate you in the blink of an eye." "Ah, yes, so I'm not easy either." The man still did not react. Leona, with only one soldier, he froze it directly with magic. Immediately after, he launched a lightning strike, leaving him singed. Although using a level 3 spell on such a low-level assassin is a waste. Since Keith watches Leona all the time, it's been a long time since he's used magic like this. Take it as a good time. He then proceeded to cure him. The killer is a little confused now. "Are you gonna let me go?" Who knew that Leona, with her angelic face, would utter diabolical words? I don't like it when people wash too much. The pain comes with a thunderous lightning strike. After getting rid of the little bullies, Leona played the victim again in front of Caius. He thought of telling him directly that he was a magician, but he was only 3 years old. If word spread, it would attract more assassins. Before he could fully control all of his magic power, he had to hide his strength. Only then could he take over the entire royal family. Just when I was gonna rest a little. But Nickel is busy and is back. In the last 3 years, he has almost come to see Leona every day. He is already 10 years old. It is the age to be actively involved in the struggle for succession. I don't know what he does here every day. He just comes looking for trouble. But he doesn't know. He doesn't know that all this series of gestures of disgust seems adorable to Nicole. He can't help but want to pinch his chubby cheeks. Leona doesn't want to, but she has no choice but to put up with it. What can you do? He is a helpless 3-year-old boy. It's so soft and tender. How elastic. Does it hurt? It hurts. Whenever. And if he comes, nothing happens. Of course it's because I love you. I love you. Me too, I love Leonardo too, okay? Seeing the two of them, they even argued about it. Leonard recalled a not-so-pleasant past. More than 300 years ago, when he was still human, he met a blonde alchemist. Back then, he was a poor orphaned boy from the slums who could have died on the street any day. He was the first person to say warm words to him, who gave him bread and milk, and he even named her Elena. At the age of 5, he did not understand that he should be wary of selfless kindness. This caused him to suffer a lot later. He began to depend on her. A part of his interior seemed to be full. I told him that this feeling is called love. That means you love me. Of course I love you too. In his naivete, he believed him, and he believed him. He followed the tower where he lived. However, upon arriving there, he discovered that he was dedicated to infusing the power of the demonic world into humans, to create lethal weapons. Countless children died at his hands, and his bright eyes and red hair woke Chen Jian awake. It must possess infinite magic within it. He asked Aliena to try it on him, for fear of being abandoned again. He did not refuse. Even if the magical beast's blood caused his body to rot, and caused him excruciating pain, he always persevered over and over again. But in the end, he always failed. The minister finally revealed his true face. Discard this useless one. It is no longer useful. Those cruel words destroyed the life that Arendt had always led. His thoughts seemed to be interrupted halfway through. When he woke up, the tower had already collapsed. Everyone inside had died. He realized that his experiment had been successful. Arena, who had been in the tower for 3 years, was 8 years old. But during the time he was unconscious, he had become an adult. I became a real witch. But what's the point? That innocent and naive girl is already dead. The one who survived is a witch who no longer trusts humanity. So Arena escaped from those humans who tell lies as if they were truths. She lived alone for more than 300 years, so she no longer wants to hear anyone tell her that she loves him. But Nikaru was not deterred. Brother Rabbit will always be by your side. Even if I ascend to the throne, I will never kill you. I won't let anyone hurt you. I assure you. But Leonardo's affection has already died in that tower, and love was cut off by Rachis, who betrayed him. Can he really trust humanity again? Give it to my assistant. Don't touch me anymore. I'm not a kid anymore, am I? Yes, the rabbit has already grown into a big boy. At that moment, they suddenly noticed an anomaly in the airflow. Who's there at the window? Michael and Cassie stood between Leona and the killer. They eliminated him in one fell swoop. Seeing Leona safe, they both breathed a sigh of relief. But Leona felt very uncomfortable at the time. They had never loved him, and he was unable to perceive those subtle emotions. After all, he hadn't been human for 300 years. But either way, this feeling is really good. Haliert appeared silently. When it arrived, I didn't realize it at all. Lily approached him with resentment. Well, of everything. His previous self could still beat him up. I have to get stronger quickly, give him another good beating. Faced with another newbie attracted by Leonard's beauty, and who... She volunteers to be his bodyguard. Nikar and Case form a common front instantly. Seeing Harriet's dumbfounded face, Leonard is speechless. He is not supposed to be the Emperor's assistant. Why does he come to see me all the time? He just comes to say a lot of nonsense. Better if he brought me some gold. How useless. My God. Your Highness, Princess Yellow, is angry. I almost forget that this guy isn't normal either. Leona wanted to slap each of them, but he was afraid they would enjoy it, so he just ignored them. Back up he it's adorable. I'm lost. I never thought that one day I would arrive at this place where, besides me, there is no normal one. I have to grow up fast. Oh, right. Helate finally remembered the purpose of her visit. The second prince will be holding a birthday party the day after tomorrow. His Majesty has ordered that all who have received an invitation must attend. Nikar was relieved, knowing that Leona didn't have to go, because he knew that his helpless sister was a lamb to the slaughter in the eyes of others. But Leona, without fear, insisted on taking him with her. He wanted to take this opportunity to spy on the other princes. Knowing your enemy is the key to success, but Keith and Mika flatly refused permission. So, the day of the second prince's birthday party hypnotized Keith, and he prepared to fly stealthily. But it was lost. How come there isn't a soul around here? Just a bunch of pebbles, arranged like the glory of a great empire. This must be a corner work. That old Nana. With no other choice, he continued through the pebbles. How can there be a barrier here? Or rather, a very difficult warning barrier to break. It seems to be the work of a magician of 4 stars or more. But for him it is a piece of cake. A light shone on Leona's hand. Moments later, he broke the barrier. Before going into exploration, Leona came up with a prank. He decided to change the shape of the pebbles. What are you doing? I'm imitating this evil dragon being beaten. Wait, this sound means I'm done. They caught me doing a prank, looking at the incredibly noble man, my mortal enemy from the past life, Rujin's father. He knows how strong man is. Scared to death, he began to act adorable to see that the man did not react. Leona felt a little uncomfortable. It seems that it has become stronger, that I feel like he's discriminating against me. Looking at his intense gaze, Leona recalled their first meeting. First, he stared at her, and then he suddenly grabbed her hand and infused his power. He tortured him when he was less than a year old. Will he try to do something to me again? At that moment, Helicos ran towards her. Leona swore that she had never been so happy to see him. Your Highness, what are you doing here? I'm going to a birthday feast. Didn't we tell him he couldn't go? Come back soon. I'll go find someone to take her back. Wait, who is he? Silence. Leonard should be his daughter. When she saw the man, she still didn't remember him. Her Royal Highness the 12th Princess is the one you previously sent for selection. Oh, it's Leona. Seeing the serious expression on his face, Leona feared that he would reprimand her for her previous behavior. He began to put on snouts with all his might. How could he resist this? I'm dying. Seeing that the man still did not react, Leonora, desperate, screamed to her, Father, please take me to the birthday party, yes? Meanwhile, Helric behaved like a complete sycophant, but the man continued with his face impassive, refusing. Seeing the Emperor expressionless, Leonora decided to risk everything. Dad, I want to go to the birthday party too. Take me with you. Leona thought that with how adorable she was, the Emperor couldn't refuse her, but he suffered indifference, shattered his confidence. Seeing that they were about to leave, Leona ran after them, but he tripped over a stone, and the pain made her cry. But to please the Emperor, he has to pretend that it doesn't hurt. The man brutally beats him and calls him a violent gentleman, asking him how she broke the barrier. Leo's freaking out, dude. How can he think so strange? Your brain is working at full speed. I don't know anything about any barriers. The Emperor still suspected it. He struggled to say that it hurt, that he was dying of pain. He stole a glance from the corner of her mouth. Leona thought she had understood. After several efforts, the man finally agreed to let Leona follow him. This filled him with satisfaction. This witch can do it all. Then I approached and pulled his clothes. My leg hurts. Hug me. I ignored the man's expression of torment. He stretched out his hands for a hug, seeing that the Emperor's expression was not good. Howite was afraid that the Emperor would slap him and kill Leona, so he quickly volunteered. But Leona despised him, just when her arm hurt from lifting it so much, and she was about to lose her mind. The Emperor finally picked him up, sighed lightly, and said, let's go. We will soon arrive at the birthday party. Suddenly, he felt agility in the air. Leona realized that something had happened. One is Necker. The other is an ice mage, an ice magic power as rare as the Emperor's. He was craning his neck to take a look, but Harriet was blocking it on purpose. The Emperor pinched his face, looking him back and forth with a serious expression, as if he were a little animal. Harriet explained, Her Majesty is concerned about the leakage of the princess's spiritual power. It's not just for fun. Leona also thinks it's unnecessary. So what if it leaks? With this man here, who could hurt her? With His Majesty the Emperor having arrived, the flow of spiritual power disappeared. Nikar saw his father hugging Leona. He thought he was going to kill her with his bare hands. This left Leona speechless. Does this guy have a brain or not? The second prince invited His Majesty to sit down. The Emperor looked at Leona for a moment. He thought this little thing was really adorable. But he has to treat all children equally. So decidedly, he threw it down, although she was very angry. Leona, reluctantly, pouted a little, but they all looked surprised at the scene before their eyes. His Majesty is pampering the 12th princess. The second prince was resentful, because his father had never spoiled any child. What if we kill Leona today? The father caressed the girl's face, and her brother condemned her to death. He noticed that Leona was staring at the cutlery. The 12th princess is not that simple. Could it be that he discovered the poison in the cutlery? This fork must be made of silver. How much could I get if I sell it? Tap it to hear the sound. I got this poison in the western regions. The shock will volatilize the toxicity. This 12th princess is truly unfathomable. Why are these people looking at me? I, an imperial princess, can't pick up a fork. At least the apple is allowed, isn't it? But he slipped and fell to the ground. Ibike believed that the poisoned apple had been discovered. I couldn't go on like this. With a sign, several assassins came out from among the officials. The Hongmen banquet had begun. First, to kill that inscrutable Leonardo. She is only 3 years old. Surely you won't be able to resist. My father will surely approve of my action. But seeing His Majesty's cold expression, he was stunned. The man shielded the woman in yellow in his arms, dodging attacks directed at him. He had already noticed that there were many assassins lurking here. He thought he wouldn't care who died. But in the end, he couldn't help but intervene. The sword is not with Huang Nu. It turns out that before coming of age, the fighter ship must be nearby. I have overlooked that rule. Leonardo, recovering, glanced hurriedly at Nekar. He saw him defending himself with difficulty from attacks. Dad, please help Nekar. I can't. No one can interfere in the struggle for succession. It's just that Minming Nekar's sword isn't even there. So a dog's life is not a life. Leonard is desperate. Nekar is the person he cultivated, the second key person in his personal power. He cannot die. Let's use the weakest magic to distract them. And let Nekar escape in the meantime. Nekar knows that he is already at the end of his rope. Even if it means death, he will stick an arrow in it. At the crucial moment, a huge fireball is launched. Its power. He immediately left everyone present in dust. I had thought about using level 1 magic. I unintentionally used level 3. Now everything is exposed. Rabbit, you saved me. I knew you loved me. I love you more than my underwear on my head. Run. The enemies are waiting for you to finish speaking. Only a plop was heard. The Emperor laughed. Let Halek bring Jaros too. It looks like I'll have to examine you ahead of time. Who is Jaros? This guy is really ruthless. He doesn't even care about his own son, not a word of encouragement. Nekar obviously exhausted his intelligence before. He collapsed after saying a few words. He fell to the ground. Ibek approached Leona. If it wasn't for his magic, he almost died when he was hit in the heart by Nikal. Why did you save us? It's because you don't like us fighting. And that's why you went to persuade my father? Is that so then? That's why you used the poison I prepared before. What are you saying? What poison? What saved you? I used the wrong skill. Didn't you see it? But Ibek's stubborn man, to express his gratitude, gave him an arm. This time it was a little rough. Next time I'll give you a more elaborate one. Leona made a face of few friends. Are you a pervert? Give an arm? What kind of gift is that? By the way, why are you so shy? A week has passed since the second prince's birthday. The maiden watches over me every day. He treats me like I'm a child. It's just that day, at the birthday party, the maid couldn't find me because I ran away. Whimpering, he searched the entire palace, but Leona couldn't trust humans. She gave herself all sorts of reasons to explain the maiden's motivations. Even if he said he loved her, Leona didn't want to believe it because the love I received always had a purpose. A 300-year-old witch reincarnates as an enemy. The daughter exposes her magic to save the fourth prince. The man looks at Leona and says, "Who are you? Why is there a 300-year-old soul in the princess's body? Of course I'm a lioness. So now I'm going to undo the magic of time, no matter what I say to your majesty?" Leona, resigned, has no choice but to give in. How much do you really know? From the Jerston of the Empire of Chassis, inherited the power of Lord Eskina. Therefore, the imperial family has souls of the same color. Except you, I feel like your soul is locked inside. Leonardo panicked. Not even the emperor discovered its power. This man discovered it immediately. I can free your soul, allowing you to use this body to become the strongest. What are you saying? Want to join me? After a silence, Leonardo took his hand. You've made a wise choice. What option? I choose electric cremation. What is that? You scared me. Jelos's distraction caused the breaking of the time limit. Because she spent too much magic, Leone's body began to cough violently. Huang Nu, what's the matter? I'm gonna call the doctor right now. Jaros, what the hell have you done? I didn't do anything. I know you used time-stopping magic. The unmasked man still smiles with discarding. I know you stood up for me and I should be happy, but could you control your power a little? I'm suffocating. Leona's about to go crazy. A moment ago I was happy in the palace. Although last time he unintentionally exposed his magic, but none of that has changed. Except that Nikar is bedridden and can't come to see him. But instead comes Abek, occasionally bringing strange gifts. Here the gifts are not limited to the finger that wears the ring, or the head that wears the helmet. Thanks, I don't need it. Maybe you could give it to Boet, the great scumbag friend of mine. But luckily, after he comes back 12 times, he won't come back. Just when Leona was immersed in her memories, a slap woke up my sleeping soul. You ignore my attractiveness. If I call you, you must answer. So you're the 8th prince. And because Leonard, he used fireball magic that even he couldn't use and felt extreme. If he can really use fire magic, I don't suggest he be killed. Leona turned and looked at him coldly. How dare you hit me? Are you looking for trouble? Immediately, a lightning spell pushed Ide away. Leave me alone. Get lost. Indignant ID, he cast a fire spell to teach him a lesson. Look how you are. I'll burn you alive. How dare you show off in front of Grandpa? A little stimulation spell. It made Ide afraid. Leonardo still wanted to play with him a little bit. He suddenly felt a familiar aura. His hypocritical personality immediately took hold of him, and he feigned a fall. He then hugged the newcomer's leg and began to act affectionately. He hit me. The Emperor was also a little confused. He doesn't understand it. Why does Leonardo hide his true strength? Will it be, as Hilliard said, what feigns weakness to get my affection? Then, the man lifted Leonardo into his arms. Seeing this, Ide hastens to explain. But what is the nature of man? He had ordered a ban on war without a prior hearing. You disobeyed an order. Eleanor feared that the 8th prince had not died. Dad, do you scold him a little? The Emperor smiled condescendingly. I confine you to your room for a week. The 8th prince was so hurt that he wanted to cry. He received a beating and also a punishment. What kind of situation is this? The Emperor embraced Eleanor and they left. I'll take you to meet someone. The girl, it was only seen by man, and he found out that she was a witch. Do you cooperate with me, or will you be exposed? Do you know the character of His Majesty the Emperor? If his daughter is possessed by another, he won't let you escape. Leona still wants to deny. Are you sure, princess? Sorry, I'm too young. I have changed my mind. I will be a disciple of Moju, so take good care of me in the future. On the other hand, the 4th prince, recently recovered from his illness. He can't wait to see Leona. I wonder what the bunny is doing now. I haven't seen him in a long time. He must be looking forward to seeing me. Suddenly, I noticed that there was an Abek was crouching in the corner. What were you doing there? Shut up and watch. We even saw Ide cursing Leona and giving orders to his cocoon. Now go and kill Leona. Bring me her head. The duo of spies outside the door kept a brief silence. They decided to temporarily ally themselves for Leona. Meanwhile, Leona, who had finished her daily training, had no idea about this. He stared at the night sky helplessly. Why Mother could detect the soul within me, although it seems that he still does not know my identity. Why does it look so familiar? At that moment, a man suddenly, appearing with a smile next to Leona. Who is it? Leona was startled. He didn't notice at all when he appeared. Miss, who are you really? Do you think I'll tell you? Then I'll have to stay by your side to observe you well. It would be even better if I could get close to you. What a pervert and dunhuang. Don't bother me, get out. The man, insistent, grabbed Leona's hand. Seriously? I'm sure you'll come and get me. I look forward to seeing you in the future. Take your dirty hands off. Then Keith appears with a murderous look, seeing that the other was still holding Leona's hand. Eliminating the pervert, he drew his sword and began to attack. The man hurriedly backed away. How dare you attack without distinguishing between good and evil? After saying that, he shattered the magic sword. If you use it again, I won't be so kind. Watching the two of them in tension. Case, you did great. Genos, do you dare talk to Case like that? Looking for trouble? Such a young child saying such cruel things. It's exceptionally adorable. Since Miss Huang doesn't like me, I'll leave. See you next week. The young lady. Huang watched Aganos leave. Leona finally breathed a sigh of relief. Who is this person? Why does it look so familiar? Your Highness. Princess Huang, Who is this intruder? The Lord of the Dark Tower in the west says he's my master. What? How? Do you know him? Everyone says he's crazy and very powerful. He once defeated tens of thousands of enemies alone. But the next time I see him, I want to kill him. Why? Why is he a pervert? Leonardo was speechless. The next morning, Leonard was still training in training camp. Suddenly, he heard Abek arguing with Kais at the door. Initially, he did not want to intervene. But he suddenly remembered that he was also a magician. He has a duel. It's perfect for knowing how much power you have to hide. I have not come to fight. I have come to bring you the breakfast of human blood that I have just prepared. Royals who turn 12 must leave the palace to train. I prepare to participate in the war against the monsters of the north. So I wanted to see you one more time before I left. And you're too small too. I don't fight the weak. Hearing this, Leona could not contain herself. What happens if I beat you? That's impossible, I say. And yes. Well, if you beat me, I'll help you fulfill your wish. Looking at Leona with her bright eyes, Ibeke had no choice, so he said, being like this, let's fight. I'll have to hold back a little with him. But as soon as the battle began, Leona teleported alongside him and knocked him down with a big punch. He no longer dared to underestimate Leona and began to fight with all his forces, with the exchange of blows between the two. Ibake soon became physically exhausted. On the contrary, Leona was completely relaxed. You've lost, haven't you? Leona held out her hand. Semi-subordinate. You will be subordinate number 1. You said it yourself. If you lose, you must fulfill my wish. Okay, what is said is fulfilled. Now I'm going to assign you a task. You are about to leave the Empire. Although I don't know where you'll go, I hope you'll go to the place I'll tell you. Look at the drawing on the floor. Abek recognized that it was the kingdom of Corel. Find out about the situation in this country, better yet, about the situation of King Lakis. Hearing this, Abek's face darkened. I thought you were different from the other royals, but I didn't expect you to use me to kill. You asked me to kill King Corel. That's like asking me to kill myself. Leonard Mondi, what are you talking about? You can't even beat me, and you want me to defeat the king? I only ask you to investigate the situation in the country. Leon must find out the current situation of Lakis. Is it squandering its power, or is it getting stronger? Know yourself, know your enemy, and you can fight 100 battles, 100 victories. I'm going to kill King Corel personally. If you dare to kill him, you will be dead. Abek, moved. I'm just a loser, and you're so good to me? It seems that you really consider me one of yours. Leo, you are very generous. I will complete the mission and return safely. Thank you. Why are you thanking me? To be an undercover agent is to risk one's life. You are crazy? Well, at least we've solved one problem. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Jaros is bored to death. Kill everyone, humans or demons. And the palace is full of useless people. Until I thought of Leona, and then I thought it was a bit interesting. An exceptional talent and spiritual possession. Apart from dragons that, for fun, possess human bodies, I have not heard of any other similar case. Is Madame Huang a descendant of dragons? But the feeling it gives me is different from that of dragons. More somber and full of murderous intent. He can't even speak clearly, and he's already so viper. No, tomorrow I have to go and get it. But it seems that there is a guest. How long, King Corel? A man, wearing a cloak, slowly approaches. It's Leonard Ruckus, whom he wanted to kill so badly. Abek, on the other hand, strives to break Nikar's seal. How dare you break my barrier? What are you here for then? Leona, who should come, does not come, and who should not, does. Nikar, do you know what you are to Leona? But he is only an ordinary member of the Royal Council. This guy suddenly appeared, saying things that were irrelevant. How can it look so impressive? And I'm a subordinate of Leonard's. And number 1, in addition, envy. I envy you, Thomas. Shooting Starhammer. You've destroyed my house. Did you come in here just to brag about it? Crazy. Not only Abek, who is crazy right now, Case in the library is too. Your Royal Highness, I'm a little greedy. What are you saying? I say that I envy the second prince. The second prince is actually a subordinate of Her Highness the Princess. Why would you envy the subordinates that workers use? You are my person. More than a subordinate, do you understand? Sace is full of excitement. I'm really so happy. Leonardo is speechless. How is it that everyone is like a lover? How come there is no book about Corel's kingdom here? Luckily, I know I've been dead for 27 years. Leonard is upset that he can't find information. This means that the Empire has no diplomatic relations with Corel. This thwarts their plan to use the Empire. It looks like I'll have to change my plan. If the plan fails, then we can only use force. After reincarnating as the daughter of her enemy, he has a lot of sycophants. Even her enemy's father was won over by her adorable beauty. He's so adorable that he's very arrogant. The man says he loves money very much. He snaps his fingers and money rains. The man is in shock. Princess, what do you think of my 200-year-old brother? I will definitely do my best to help you. So swear to it, using all your spiritual power. For a magician, that is his life. As much as I love money, I couldn't have all that money, multiplied by 2. Forgive my ignorance, Mrs. Huang. I swear I will be faithful to you. From now on, I'll be your dog. Wow, wow, wow. How brazen you are, Jaros. Your Highness, Madame Huang, how can you say that? I can't give up money for pride. Not bad. Now I am going to impose 3 rules on you. First, you can't reveal my true identity. Second, before I become emperor, don't leave my sight. Third, and most importantly, keep in touch with the Kingdom of Corel. Are you asking me to be a spy? You know I'm the Honorable Mota. The money doubles. Blind princess, she doesn't know. What I like most is being a spy. The job of tower boss is just a side job for me. How long does it last? That loan from Leo? All his life? Until he is of legal age, he will be fine. You don't need to keep it all your life. So I'll do as you say. After saying that, he used all of his magic power to make the contract. With the spread of magical power, contract completed. Looking at the contract in his hand, he recalled his past life when, in a confused way, he signed a contract with Lacus. With all his heart, and Alma helped him to take the throne of Corel. The day that was supposed to be their wedding, he was cruelly murdered by him. Leo swore that he would make Lacus pay. Tell me now, what is Lacus up to? As I understand it, it looks like they're planning something. It seems that they plan to move forward to the south. Isn't that the direction of the Mountain of Fire? Yes, the mountain range of the Invincible Witch. Leo is a little unhinged. All his fortune is there. But the witch was not very powerful. How dare you? The witch was very powerful, but she is now dead. How do you know if she's dead or not? King Care himself has proclaimed it to the 4 winds, saying that he killed the witch himself. So not only do I know, most know that the witch is already dead. That damn Lacus. When I become emperor, I will crush Corel's kingdom. By the way, it looks like you already swore it, so you can't take it back. Right? Yes, what's going on? So, even if I say that this money is not mine, it doesn't matter. All this is from the corner. If you spend it, Esquina will not forgive you. The man felt a chill. But don't worry. I'll pay you a salary of 10 gold coins a month. Wait, Princess Huang, let's talk for a moment. Goodbye. Who commands him to be so greedy? Take care, you idiot. Jello could only scream helplessly. Leona planned to pressure him to give her more salary. But by that time, Leona was already slumped on the couch. What did you do in the library? Of course you have to read. Besides, I've played a good joke on Genos. Wow. Do you really know how to read, Rabbit? You're a genius. It seems that I will have to write a letter to the 4 wise men. Really, Your Highness? What's so surprising about it? It's nothing because of the rabbit. Thank you very much, Tina, Your Highness, looking at the maid full of gratitude. Nakar thought of his nurse, who was constantly lamenting her unfortunate life. Good thing Rabbit's nurse was a good person. Thank you, Anakar. Although, busybodies aren't necessarily smarter than me. By the way, Leona Albeck, how did that madman become your subordinate? How could you hire someone so unreliable? Why don't you consider me? I can too. Lioness. Without words, he cannot sit down. You think I'm not as good as that boy too? But that's just for now. The royals, when they reach adulthood, will be enlightened. They will become much more powerful. So please allow me to be your #1 subordinate. I also want to show off a bit, and I will definitely never betray you. Leonard fell into his thoughts. Why? Whether it's Case or Nakar? Everyone longs to become my subordinates. What's so good about being someone's subordinate? I want to be emperor. And you? I also want to be emperor, of course, but even so, I still won't betray you. So let me be your subordinate. Leo is very heartbroken, I know, but you are not my subordinate. You and Case are mine, just like me. McCall was excited. He ran and hugged Leona. Rabbit, so I'm number 0, I bike a number 1 team? Well, if that makes you happy. On the other hand, Jairus is still immersed in sadness. I was fooled by such a small trick. I used it without realizing it. The opportunity for revelation unique in the life of a magician. If other magicians knew about it, they would surely laugh at me. But why would he have the corner money? It seems that he considers the palace as his own home. What lack of manners. It refers to the fact that I entered the palace without permission. Or why did I enter the princess without permission? When he was discovered, Eric was very embarrassed. Who gave you permission to see our princess? How dangerous. I am the tutor of His Royal Highness. Are you saying that I am dangerous? Herrick trembled politely. I dislike your look. I'm sure you're up to something. Speak. What is your purpose in approaching His Highness, the Crown Prince? Pure curiosity. Leona is very valuable for research. What research value? I want to know what the research value you are referring to is. Oh, His Majesty the Emperor, my head hurts. I don't remember anything. I'll give you a box of food for spirits. It's very little. I still don't remember. 2 boxes. Suddenly my mind lights up. How do you explain this? This scoundrel. As for Her Highness the Imperial Princess, I believe that her body is descended from dragons. That is, that the princess inherited the power of the dragon. That's how it is. Of course, but all these are just my assumptions. Hyrick is in shock. Since the first emperor 300 years ago, no descendants of the dragon have appeared again. Even among the transcendents, His Majesty of the Emperor is just a normal person. Are you sure the princess is a descendant of dragons? These are just my speculations. Otherwise, how could he have a 5-star spiritual power? This is unprecedented across the continent. Harriet is very surprised, Your Majesty. I suggest that we call a priest immediately to confirm it. Why do you give me such important information so easily? Jelos is surprised. Compared to the soul inside the princess, doesn't that matter anymore? After all, I'm his teacher, and we are allies, aren't we? I will not ally myself with anyone related to Kalian. Please be merciful. I really need money, and I have not harmed the interests of the Empire either. If you dare to harm me, you wouldn't have become the master of today's tower. Everything you have done is useless. Your brother is already dead. Could you shut up? If I give my all and stand up to His Majesty, I don't know who would die here. Then give it a try. Harriet was speechless. Excuse me for interrupting your pleasant moment, but this is the favorite library of Her Highness the Imperial Princess. If he saw it, he would be very sad. Both were instantly paralyzed. How about we go to the... I'll be keeping an eye on them. If you dare to do something that harms the Empire, you will bear the consequences. On the other hand, Leonardo lies in bed preparing for sleep. When you feel a sudden chill, why do assassins always choose me when I'm calm? But in the next second, the maid, always so weak, pulls out a hammer and in the blink of an eye solves everything. You stained your clothes with the blood from his wing. Your Highness, Huang Min. Oh, that's great. Leona, I'm impressed. What are you talking about? Aren't you supposed to be the kindest in this play? And those 2 huge hammers, did you pull them out of the crotch? From the crotch. Second day. Leo, unable to contain his curiosity, he began to ask, why are you so handy with your hands? I don't have any special identity, I'm just originally from Salute. It turns out that she was a special soldier of the Duchy of Elan, the lioness of the past life, but suffered a great defeat in the Duchy of Elan. Back then, he had just helped Lacus ascend to the throne. This idiot actually wants to go to war against the powerful Duchy of Elan. Leonard, who did not want to get involved in this matter, he finally decided to intervene when Lacus was about to die. And why did you come here? Because I was his mother's guard. Back then, to avoid being invaded by Corel, the Duchy of Elan, he chose to establish diplomatic relations with the Empire, and they married the only princess of the Duchy of Elan, that is, my mother. If it wasn't for that powerful witch who led the attack, our duchy wouldn't have fallen into this state. Leonaven's expression became complex. If he hadn't been part of the squadron, the Duchy of Lacus wouldn't have lost. So the princess would not have married. The Empire would not have given birth to me, nor would he have died in foreign lands to cause him pain. All this is Leona's work, seeing Leona depressed. Do you miss your mother? I also miss the princess and my home. So on the 5th birthday of Her Highness the Princess, a delegation from the Principality will visit the Empire. Your grandfather will also come. What? That's not money. Is it the old man he almost killed? Now he's become my grandfather. Is this so embarrassing? If he knew I was a witch, I would be dead. We have arrived, Her Highness the Princess. Leona looked up and saw 3 people waiting for her. He still did not react. The Emperor spread his magic and lifted Leona in his arms. It seems that she was tired of walking. As soon as he arrived, he wanted a hug. This time, I will please you. Leona wondered what he was saying, when he was the one who dragged her, but to take care of the face of the Emperor Father. I thanked Dad sweetly. But, having said that, why is Garros here? For I missed Her Highness the Princess too much. So I went into the palace. I don't need to be. You hate so much just because Leona threw up. Then he asked doubtfully on purpose what we are going to do today, because there are so many people here. The Emperor replied immediately. I've heard it said that perhaps you have inherited the dragon's cave, so please let the priest examine you. The little witch immediately felt confused. The dragon's cave? Who said that? Thanks to Heliart's suggestion, the little witch knew that it had been Garros who had told the Emperor. He quickly turned his head to look at Garros, just when Garros thought he was going to be scolded by the entire league. The little witch praised him cheerfully. Well done. That's right, I am a descendant of dragons. I have the power of a dragon inside me, she thought cheerfully to herself. Unexpectedly, Jalos fabricated a false identity for me, so there is no need to worry about the revelation of my identity as a witch. And in that, Jalos asked by telepathy, by the way, His Highness, the Yellow Princess, have you really inherited the power of the dragon? This question also provoked deep reflection in the little witch. Truth be told, I doubt that too, a simple human body. He was born with a 5-star spiritual power, but if he really was a descendant of a dragon, the soul of this body should have already been fixed. I wouldn't be able to inhabit this body. Forget it, I'll think about complicated things later. At that moment, a call was heard. It turns out that Abel came running excited. Just as he was running towards the little witch, Abel stopped immediately. Dot saw the person who was holding the little witch was her own father. Immediately made. He bowed and said, Father, thank you for saying goodbye to me. I will definitely accomplish something great. However, the response he got was the Emperor turning silently. This left Abel extremely discouraged. The little witch couldn't take it anymore. He quickly said, Dad, aren't you going to tell Abel to have a good trip? Isn't that supposed to be said when saying goodbye? Right, Lin? The little witch's sentence made Harriet and Lin Susse tremble. After all, the little witch is the first one who dares to speak to the Emperor like that. Lin quickly tried to explain something, but the little witch went on to say, Dad went on a trip, it doesn't matter if he doesn't say hello to you. The Emperor, hearing these words, the competitor, turning around, said to Abel, have a good trip. He has lived here for 12 years, and Abel had never heard words of concern from his confident father. He quickly thanked the little witch and said that he would complete the task he had given her. The little witch also said with concern, you have to finish it. Good trip. Afterwards, Abel said goodbye to everyone. After sending Abel away, the Emperor hugged the little witch and walked towards the meeting place with the god Guan. At this time, the little witch suddenly asked, Dad, why are you kinder to Ever than to me? Hearing this, the others who knew the Emperor instantly became tense. But the Emperor replied gently, because you are strong, he is not as good as you. The little witch was immediately disgusted. He responded quickly, but Abel is also very strong. Besides, he's my subordinate. The Emperor then said, Subordinate, you won the duel, so you made him your subordinate. The little witch quickly replied, Yes, so I hope Dad treats him well, just like he treats me. But, speaking of which, how do you know that I fought Abel? But the Emperor asked at that moment, why didn't you kill Abel? The little witch replied bravely, He is my family, how can I kill my family? I forgot, it seems that my father killed my family. I'm sorry, after saying this, everyone present was instantly silent. A moment later, the Emperor explained to the little witch, as you say, I killed my brothers. But at first I didn't exterminate them all. I left them a way out, but I found that it was nothing more than a nuisance. My compassion in the end brought me his ruthless betrayal. You too, if you don't want to be repaid inconjustedly and stabbed in the back, you must remember this. All the royalty is behind you. And the little witch at this time comforted the Emperor and said, Don't worry, let Dad love Belle and betray me, it doesn't matter. If he betrays me, I won't be condescending either. After all, I'm not that weak. In addition, in the future, I will be even more powerful. Listen, when he heard these words, the Emperor said nothing more. He just gently stroked the little witch's head. At that moment, Everyone arrived at the reception. Then Jiro suddenly said goodbye to the little witch. It immediately piqued the little witch's curiosity, so she quickly asked what was wrong. Did he really leave like this? Harriet, who was next to him, hurriedly explained. Morta loves money more than anything, so Shen Guan doesn't like it very much, Harriet said. And the emperor took the little witch away. He opened the door to the reception room. As he entered, he saw the priest sitting waiting, and Caius standing beside him. Caius, seeing the little witch, greeted her cheerfully. The little witch quickly replied and admired him. Caius hadn't seen Caius since morning. It turned out that he had been like this all along. But then the priest began to complain. He made me come to bless the princess, but it made me wait so long. The emperor, hearing this, was immediately rude. Forget about trivial greetings. Bless the princess directly. At that moment, Xiao Huang also obediently jumped out of the emperor's arms, waiting for the blessing. This assent keeps chattering non-stop now that I think about it. The imperial princess is really a descendant of a dragon, if we only judge it by appearances. The impatient emperor interrupted him and said, "Of course, that we don't judge him by appearances, so hurry up and give us your blessing." The priest stopped complaining. He hurriedly said, "Since His Majesty has authorized it, then I have nothing to say. I'll bless the princess right now. Please give me your hand." After hearing this, the little witch quickly and obediently placed her hand on the gods. Suddenly, a large amount of spiritual energy was seen in the air, gathering between the hands of both of them. After a moment, the time of Shen Guan's divine blessing was almost over, and he prepared to withdraw his power. But at that moment a problem arose. He asked, confused, what was going on? Why couldn't he withdraw his power? At that instant, the little witch was looking at Shen Guan with a gloomy face. Suddenly she withdrew her hand and said, "What are you doing? Oh, what a pain! Are you looking for death? I think you deserve a beating." As soon as he said that, suddenly the whole place fell silent. The little witch also noticed at that moment, smiled shyly and said, "I said something bad. Ask for forgiveness." And the emperor asked seriously, "Shen Guan, aren't you supposed to be blessing her? Why does it hurt the imperial princess?" Shen Guan, about to explain something, suddenly he thought of something. And he quickly said to the little witch, "Imperial princess, could you give me your hand again? This time I'll be more careful." The little witch didn't see that it was a bad thing, and without saying much more, she shook her hand again. After checking again, the priest whispered, "No doubt, it looks like I'll have to give the great goddess the function of hair change. Her Highness, Princess Yellow, doesn't need to wait for blooming. Normal royalty has to wait for blooming to show their true power. But Her Highness, Princess Yellow, is different. I find it difficult to estimate the amount of spiritual energy within it. That means Princess Huang Niao possesses a dragon body." Keith looks at her admiringly from the side. But a moment later, the little witch suddenly clenches her fists in fury, and even kicks the bed frame, making it sound loudly, thinking to herself, "What good is it to know that this body is descended from a dragon? Right now I have a hard time even activating my spiritual power." Then I complained to Case. "I want to be stronger, but I can't. It bothers me so much." Case hurriedly comforted me, "Your Highness, she's only 3 years old. She's strong enough already." "But it is not enough. I have to be stronger." The little witch responded with disgust to Keith with regret. "Only then will I be able to catch Regan sooner. I will not teach you a lesson, and then I will dominate the entire continent." But then the little witch stopped thinking about the future and quickly asked where Lina Lin was. After Keith's suggestion, the little witch slammed open the door to Lin's room and asked, "What are you doing?" "Wow, Her Highness the Yellow Witch got up early today," Lina said when she saw her, happy. The little witch answered him proudly, "I always get up early because I'm a descendant of dragons. But what were you doing right now?" Hearing this, I hastened to explain that I was ordering some gifts for you. That Alan Ning accepted Priest Spofford yesterday has already been spread, and that His Majesty the Emperor prefers Lin Wuxi, so the nobility is starting to take sides. "That's Hululu," the little witch said confidently. "Though that being said, Your Highness, where do you know the word bribery?" The little witch was stunned for a moment, and he quickly blamed Halliet, saying, "Halliet told me." "I see. So it seems that lately I have to talk to Halliet," Lin said with a smile on his face. At that time, Lee asked the little witch, Highness, for her upcoming birthday, she planned to organize a banquet. What do you think? Hearing this, the little witch began to think. Anyway, sooner or later I would have to learn these customs. So there was no need to turn him down. So he said cheerfully, well, let's have a party. At this moment, Nikar suddenly appeared at the door and said cheerfully, I've arrived. Lately, rumors about you are everywhere among the rabbits. They say you're an amazing princess. The little witch smiled proudly. And Nikar went on to say, still, you must not forget that I am your hand number 0. And besides, I'm going to nail a flag with a sign that says I'm your subordinate. Keith, Star-Eyed, Poker Island. Excellent idea, I want to do that too. Looking at these two clowns, the little witch sighed helplessly. Then he changed the subject and asked, well, tell me about the Jade Prince. Hearing this, Nikar's face paled, and he said, just by seeing him, you will know that he is crazy, so, Bunny, you better not see the Jade Prince for now, when you are a little older. But the more Nikar talked, the more curious little Mao became. He quickly asked, why? And Nikar went on to say, because he never has mercy. Before that, he almost beat me to death. If he had killed me directly, it would have been fine, but he didn't. Instead, he locked me up, tortured me like a rat. Hearing this, the little witch suddenly darkened. She said firmly, right now I feel terribly bad. I think he doesn't want to live. How dare he beat my people? Only I can annoy Nikara. Starting today, let me help you become stronger. The little witch and Nikar arrived at the training ground. Nikar said happily, are you really going to train me? Really? Really? The little witch, impatient, said, alas, why do you keep asking? I told you that I will help you to strengthen. So you have to defeat that guy. Understood? That, I don't think so. The Imperial Prince is truly amazing. He is the son of his great uncle, Nika replied immediately, discouraged. The little witch lost all her passion because of her words. Then he asked with resignation, do you say that he is the son of your great uncle? That's why it's so incredible. So who is the great uncle? The current pope is the great uncle, Nicole replied quickly. And the little witch, after understanding, continued to ask, so you are the emperor's son? Is the pope more powerful than the emperor? This phrase obviously struck a chord with the second prince, but it seems that it does not belong to him, and Nikar kept saying that he was better than me. That also hurt my pride. But the power of the first prince is not on the same level as that of other royals. I really don't have confidence. The little witch, hearing this, also had no patience to continue cheering him up. He directly said, you don't have confidence, so practice until you have confidence. Go to training camp right now. As soon as that is said, the little witch immediately casts magic to counterattack. Nikar gets scared and runs to the training field. He begins to practice alone, on the verge of tears. The little witch also continues to try to activate her spiritual power, and thinks to herself, I'll try a few more times. That way I should be able to transfer the spiritual power of the soul, as long as no one interrupts me in the process. Watching the Red Sea, the strength of the soul of my previous life. The little witch also remembered then how he sought the Red Sea to face that dragon. Too bad I still didn't understand. Which was exactly the Red Sea, that's why he lost in the end. Just as the little witch caught the Red Sea, and she wanted to investigate it, suddenly, a magical attack pierced through his shoulder. The little witch fell to the ground in pain and thought, how come they attacked me suddenly? Curse! My spiritual power is destabilizing. Then he heard a voice saying, oh, I didn't expect to be able to kill you so easily. The assassins my older brother hires are different. The little witch hurriedly raised her head. He turned out to be the 8th prince she herself had awakened. The 8th prince went on to say, you should have lived more discreetly. Maybe then you would have lived a few more years. Then he ordered the murderer behind him, kill him. His spiritual energy ran wild instantly in the face of the murderer's attack. The little witch could only resist with her body. Damn, he thought angrily. If it wasn't for the runaway spiritual energy, this attack would be nothing. But the killer gave him no chance to react. He immediately launched a huge attack and directed him back to the little witch. After a cloud of smoke, the little witch controlled her spirit power by force and stopped the attack, and said firmly, although I don't know where Case and Mika have gone. In my current state, I just can't. I've been waiting for them to act first. It seems that I can only choose one method that allows me to use the power of the Red Sea, to use the Red Sea. Immediately, the little witch's body emanated a seductive red. And, full of resentment, she said to the two in front of her, "You are dead." But just at that moment, the two of them inexplicably fell in front of the little witch. The little witch hurriedly said, "What's going on? I haven't done anything yet." "Hello, where's Leo?" Suddenly, a voice startled the little witch, who immediately turned to look. The person who came was a white-haired man with a charming appearance, and he continued to tell him, "I've always wanted to see you." After saying that, he looked at the little witch with a smile on his face. Just at that moment, on the other hand, the hand of the emperor, who he was working, he stopped suddenly. He stood up and said, "It looks like he's come unannounced." Harit was surprised for a moment. He immediately said, "Yes, here you can feel its sacred beauty. It seems that their power has increased." "But, Your Majesty, where is he going?" The emperor said anxiously to the Palace of the Black Rose. "I also felt Leonard's aura." Harit immediately said nervously, "If you two fight right now, it seems that Her Royal Highness, the Imperial Princess, is in greater danger." Back to the little witch. We see her asking furiously, "You must be the first prince, right? Why have you come to my territory to cause trouble?" Then she thought to herself, "My spiritual power is out of control, and I have serious internal injuries with the current situation. I think it will be difficult for me to face it alone. What should I do?" The first prince, hearing the little witch's rebuke, did not get angry, but smiled. "Child, you are really shameless. But what about Leo? You should be clear that I can kill the girl right now, so I advise you to watch my expression." But the little witch is not scared. She said angrily that you shouldn't believe yourself so much. When she wins, she gets there, he could beat 10 like you. "Ha ha ha, what adorable things you say. You don't expect them to save you, do you?" The first prince laughed nonchalantly and pointed back. The little witch, seeing people in the distance clearly, was stunned. It turned out that Kai and Nikar had already been subdued. At that moment, the first prince continued to say, "Since you chose the Enlightened One for the task, why don't you provide him with equipment that can hold up? The sacred power? Even if the Enlightened One is very powerful, I can't even stand the power of light. Leon, I never thought you would hold out for so long. Really unexpected. You may not know it, but I have waited a long time, waiting for someone to come along who is worthy of me." Hearing this, the little witch, with her hair completely matted, asked, "What are you saying?" The prince, interrupted, hastened to explain. "I meant that you are the most suitable person, even though you are still small. But marry me when you're older." "What?" The little witch suddenly felt confused. What is this wolf talking about? "My father once said, for the future of humanity, we must join forces, beget a new generation." Not curious? If a child inherits our powers, what kind of changes will occur in this world? We will rewrite the history of the continent. So Leo, come with me. Look at the almost crazy eyes of the first prince. The little witch immediately remembered the two men with whom she had had dealings. They had both looked at her with that same look, saying those sweet words they needed from her. He had been deceived and betrayed twice. Enough was enough. Thinking this, the little witch gritted her teeth and cast a rocket spell on the prince, opening a wound on his face with a fair complexion. Then, the one who pulled out the gun stood up and said something about the next generation. "Today you are going to die here. Stop daydreaming." Understanding the lesson of attacking first, the little witch cast a fire spell again and thought, "Although I said nonsense before, the current situation does not favor me. I must do it quickly." Then, an uninterrupted succession of fire spells, one after another. A few moments later, the entire training camp fell silent. The little witch was staring at the first prince, in the direction where he was. But just then, the smoke began to dissipate. It was seen that the first prince was embraced by his own arrows, flying in the air, and laughing he said, "Ha ha ha, Leo, I almost died in your hands. I can't believe I showed you mercy, and you tried to kill me." Seeing this, the little witch screamed furiously, "Brat, get out of there!" And the first prince said sadly, "I don't want to. If I go down, you will attack me again." "Brat, do you think that if I don't come down, I won't be able to attack you?" murmured the little witch. Immediately, an explosive spell appeared above the head of the first prince. After a rumble, the little witch's attack was repelled again, the first prince said without changing his expression. "Now I like you more and more." The little witch thought in surprise. Not even such a violent attack could kill him. And the first prince went on to say, Since they are enemies, we must eliminate them at the root as soon as possible. In an instant, a huge magic sword appears in front of the little witch, but the little witch, because of the previous injuries, can no longer resist. With bitterness in his heart, he murmurs, "Damn, I've been overconfident. It seems that I have been careless again. How do I continue to be like this? But either way, this life has been pretty good. But what a pity.